Hi, this is Johnny, your friendly local realtor. Welcome to the April 2021 monthly market report. We're in the full-blown spring season, and we know spring is when house buying and selling really starts to take off for the rest of the year. And so we're starting to see more inventories coming into the market, but it's still very low. It's not enough to keep up with the current demand. Today, along with current inventories, we're going to look at important up-to-date events that are happening in the housing market, so please stay with me. Let's start with key metrics on year-over-year changes today compared to a year ago. If you look from the left, we see that the showings are up almost 50% and purchase applications almost 40%, indicating that we have a lot more people wanting to see and buy homes compared to this time last year. This isn't such high numbers right now because, if you remember, unlike Georgia, many parts of the country were still under lockdown last year and they weren't able to see and fill out applications to buy homes. If you look at pending deals, this is actually numbers from February and is slightly low, but existing and new home sales are both up, getting close to almost 10%. But of course, the biggest issue right now is the inventory. We are minus 52% on existing and minus 4.6% on new homes compared to this time last year. And let's see what minus 52% year-over-year inventory looks like all across the country and see where Georgia is. Usually, when you see color red, it's not a good sign, and if it's deeper red, even worse. As we see in this map, there's no single state that has higher inventory compared to last year, and in the southeast where we see cluster of deep red, there are Tennessee, North, South Carolina, and Georgia. These states are much lower in inventory compared to year-over-year national average, Georgia coming in at minus 60.5%. So we see inventory for Georgia is much lower than the national average. But how is the inventory situation every month for our state? If you look at this graph going back to January 2020, we see we had 1.2 months of inventory in January this year, but it fell to 1.1 in February, and luckily it remained the same for March. This is due to more inventories coming into the market for the season, but like I have mentioned before, this isn't enough. So why is it that we have such low numbers of inventory all across the country? Have you ever asked this question before? Well, if you think that it's because of the population increase and people are not feeling safe to list their homes due to COVID, you are correct. But there's more than meets the eye. Let me explain. I've mentioned this before, but as far as the population increase, if we go back after World War II, we had baby boomer generation. Now this generation led US commercial market in the 70s and housing market in the 80s, causing major impact in the economy. And now we're seeing the same thing happen with the millennial generation, but with bigger impact. Because we have 10% more millennials than baby boomers, and according to NMBA, National Mortgage Bankers Association, 45% of all current mortgages are with the millennials. A lot of the millennials didn't buy homes as early as baby boomers, but decided to buy now, wanted to take advantage of the low rates. The other reason for the higher home demand is because of the high rental cost. If you look at this graph of median asking rent across the country since 1988, you can see that it's been steadily rising, but at much sharper incline since 2018. The last reason for us not having much inventory is because we're not building as much. Now, you might be puzzled to hear this because currently building permit is at record high, and everywhere we see, people are building homes. But if you look at this graph, it tells a different story. The completed single-family housing units for the last 13 years have been below 50-year average. If you look where the red bars are, which is around 04 to 06, these were the record-setting times in the US real estate market. We've built over 1.5 million homes just in these times. This has never happened before and happened again. And ensuing these times came Great Recession of 08 when lending dried up for the builders. And following that time, builders weren't able to bring the numbers of units to keep up with the population growth. Because if you look back in the 70s and 80s, more homes were built than are today. So you can definitely say that we're still being affected by the aftermath of 2008, even to this day. I know this inventory situation is extremely frustrating for those that are wanting to buy, but unfortunately, this is expected to continue as we head into the summer months, and according to the experts, we won't see much increase in inventory till the third and fourth quarter of the year. Recently, NAR made a statement saying that in order for us to get back to the healthy supply level equivalent to 6 months of monthly demand, meaning neutral market, not being sellers nor buyers market, an additional 2.7 million homes should be on the market for sale. Now, this amount is almost double what we built during 04 to 04 that I mentioned previously, so you can see how inventory deprived we are today. Let's talk about interest rate for a moment. Interest rate has started rising and is currently at 3.18% for 30-year fixed rate according to Freddie Mac, We saw the lowest rate close to the beginning of the year at mid 2%, but where we are now is similar to June last year. Yes, we're no longer in the lowest position, but we're still at a historically low rate. And this is what George Ratu, senior economist at Realtor.com, said about current rate. Home sellers and home buyers have gotten really used to extremely low rates. Rates even in the 3 to 3.4% range remain extremely affordable by historical standards. We're still at a good rate environment, but please remember, this rate will continue to rise as our economy improves across the country. Let's move on and talk about home price appreciation. It's a great time to be owning a home due to rapidly rising home prices. And this is what Dr. Fisher from FHFA said. House prices nationwide recorded the largest annual and quarterly increase in the history of FHFA House Price Index. Low mortgage rates, pent-up demand from home buyers, and a limited housing supply propelled every region of the country to experience faster growth in 2020 compared to a year ago despite the pandemic. And as the home prices appreciate, there's this one thing that follows that appreciation, and that would be home equity. The average gain in equity for a home just last year alone was $26,300. And currently, for a mortgaged home, average equity is at $204,000 all across the country, setting a highest record ever. Aside from this, 38.2% of all homes right now are mortgage-free, and 16.2% is increase in equity, totaling over $1.5 trillion. And if you look at this map, you can see year-over-year gain in average equity for each state. For the whole country, we have on average $26,300 increase in equity, but we have more increase in the West and East Coast compared to the other states. I wanted to bring this news to you because not many people are aware that they have this much equity in their homes. Well, this is all I have to cover today, and I hope these informations will help you make an informed real estate decisions. As more vaccines are taken and COVID cases decline, we're going to see our economy improve and finally get our normal life back. It seems like we have little more to go, so let's all hang in there. I'll see you again next time with more valuable real estate news. Goodbye.